What's up, my people? This is Real Talk with Mr. O. Let me get my breath together. And again, welcome to According to the Lie. And that's all together according to the spacebar Lie, Lie. Again, I want to explain to you why I launched this platform. I launched it to counter white mainstream media lies to induce thought control. Family, we are way past mind control. We're under thought control. I've said that in earlier videos. Why? Because our thoughts are not even our own. We repeat the lies that we see in the media. I've said in the past that the media is the visual scriptures of our day. And I say that in that religious context because unless we see it on the news, unless we see it on CNN, Fox, ABC, and even Twitter, if you don't think Twitter is also a part of the AP or receiving AP news or Reuters news headlines and information, you gotta have another thought coming. But be that as it may, I want to share with you again a conversation I've been having discussing this topic. And put that up there on the whiteboard for you. I want to share with you this topic: attack on the black man, Georgia mass incarceration agenda, aka anti-gang initiative. And these are video articles. And this is part 3 of many series. Hopefully it won't be too long, but I got a lot that I want to share with you. As I said in the past, this is a working article. I started back in June of 2020, some 15, 16 pages. Now obviously I can't do it in one setting. I would get tired and you get tired. But enough said on that. Let's look at this discussion here on part 3 of the attack on the black male. In this conversation, I want to share with you this element. But before I get into that element, I'm going to be quoting news sources, broadcast and print. And I think I need to quote for you and share with you what is called the fair use. The fair use is a disclaimer under the copyright statute of 1976. I'm not going to read it verbatimly there. It's there for you to read. There you go, you can take it in. I'm just protecting myself because yes, there's going to be some criticism, some comments about the news media, the white news media, and what's going on with our government officials who are making decisions. Somebody said there's some collusion or some collusion, let's say, leave it with that word, it's fake news. He might have some validity to that statement. But be that as it may, there's for my protection the fair use. Now I want to get into the topic. The topic that we're going to discuss. Let's get into that. That discussion is this right here. Let's get into this topic. I gotta get back to used to that. The topic is element 4. What is the governor's anti-gang initiative? And before I go, that's the discussion. Remember I told you there are 10 points that I discussed in my article, or 10 elements that make up the politics that go into the governor's anti-gang initiative that was passed in the law last year. I'll be sharing with you that, the documentation. Again, I like to bring the facts and the documentation. I could tell you go search for it for yourself, but I know that I don't want to be one of these shadow talkers out here just saying, go look it up, Google it, you'll find it. Google it might mislead you and lead you astray from the truth. That's what I said also in an earlier video. The news media is designed to lead you away from the truth, and so are certain Google sources designed to lead you away from the truth. But that's another discussion. So, here's element 4. Again, my background is an educator. As you can see, this thing is set up like a whiteboard. I got it structured. I have a written article. I'm going to try to read it as much as I can, but as I've said in the past, how we read and how we lecture or talk are two different things. And so I have to look at the script because I want to be on point. I want to be structured. I don't want to be just all over the place. I get on some tangent. I want to make sure I get to my point within the time that I've set up in this video. Now, with that being said, understand there's going to be kind of jaggedness with it. Now, what are the words we need to consider as we look at this discussion? Here are some of the terms. the educators coming out. Here are some of the terms I want us to focus on as we get into this discussion. Let's see, let's bring that up, clean that off the whiteboard, the terms that we're going to consider in this discussion. There we are. Look at these words. The words for today: anti-gang initiative, street gang terrorist prevention, and what's that? The Nicholas Chafee Act, the Georgia General Assembly House Bill 994 and Senate Bill 993, Georgia Juvenile Code, the Federal Juvenile Delinquency Code, associates versus associating, terrorist, and Testilying. Interesting term. You'll see what that's about. So, focus words to help make this point of these terms right here. Now, let's get into this article that I've written for you back on. Let me clean my whiteboard up. We're talking about the law. Get those terms. Get element 4 out of there. What's that, number 1? And we're going to get right into sharing with you the law. Let me start on the article. House Bill. Dealing with House Bill 994. Let's bring that up and bring that over. Let's make it a little larger. I love this OBS studio. I share it with people. I say, hey, you got to try this out. Because I'm not going to pay anybody to do what's out there for free. And all you got to do is apply your mind and make it work. The initiative, dubbed the Nicholas Chafee Act, is excessively redundant, which makes it rather duplicitous. Again, history has shown this type of law carries a tyrannical nature. Why is that? Due to the duplicitous effect, the words and their meanings may expand to new provisions as needed, which were not defined in the actual law. An example of such provision as let me get this right. An example of such duplicitous nature is in the use of the term associate. More on that term and how the term is actually used in what is called the Street Gang Terrorism Prevention Act. Okay, have a little drink of water. Keep moving through here. Pardon me for that. Okay. All right. Moving a little further. When one looks at the short title of the Street Gang Terrorist Prevention Act, it's actually entitled the name, Street Gang Terrorist Prevention Act. However, no such designation actually exists for the Nicholas Chafee Act. Georgia General Assembly House Bill 994 enumerates the governor's initiative. Let's see. And what is House Bill 994 or 994? There's a split between revising the Street Gang Terrorist Prevention Act and the Sex Offenders Registry. An article published in the AJC got it wrong when it suggested that the Nicholas Chafee Act expands the GBI to assist a local law enforcement agency in investigating and arresting. Somehow, in some news accounts, the GBI is act as part of the prosecution of alleged gang members. However, when you read the 994, House Bill 994, also let me bring up the other Senate bill. Take that out. We want to take out the Senate bill. Let me get the words for the day is in the way. We're going to take that out of there. And we're going to go back to here. Let's take that out. When we take that out, you don't want to let it go. And I put in this and take out that. There we go. We're shifting. Shift. Great. We're going to change over there. And there we are. We're looking at House Bill, Senate Bill 393. Let's make that large. Seems a little too small to see. There we go. Work with me, my people. Just some technology there. But again, I'm bringing the facts to you. Look, when you look at these two bills, that language is not in there. What SB393, pardon me, does expand the GBI duties to investigate and arrest. So apparently, the governor engaged in political grandstanding to tag the slain youth to both House Bill 994 and Senate Bill 393 and dubbed them as the Nicholas Chafee Act. So, some political grandstanding there. But anyway, like the Georgia Criminal Street Gang, which was created back in 2010, the buzz in the media is saying these are the new laws created by the governor. These are not new laws created by the governor. Yes, there are some new laws, but it wasn't called the Nicholas Chafee Act. That's not to disrespect the young man that was killed, the child that was killed. I have a lot to say about things like that. Give me the needle and I'll be ready to take them out, whoever the assailants or the criminals are. Anyway, basically what the governor did, he merely prioritized the law and dubbed it the Nicholas Chafee Act by funding this new database. Okay, that's all that was going down. So let's move a little further in this article. Again, with Georgia, Georgia's a kangaroo state. It's the backwards state in a backwards country. You go back and look at the Yahoo land deal and you see, hey, these people go make laws, white-splain things, change things to make them fit to go any direction they needed to go at the given time. That's basically what that's all about, family. So enough said on that. Let me move a little further into my article. Let's talk about this thing here, get that out. I want to get into the next point that was made in my discussion. Be it as it may, Georgia has had its own version of the federal government Homeland Security terrorist since 2010. Once one names appear in the CSGD or the database, one will be treated equivalent to a terrorist held at Guantanamo Bay. The accused can be held without bond on the accusation of being a gang member or associating with a known gang member. And the term associating is echoed in the white media based on it is repeated to the repeater from law enforcement. So I don't call them journalists, I don't call them reporters, they don't investigate, they don't do any research, they just take press releases, statements from policemen, and repeat it as if it's fact. And they don't know how to return to correcting their lie. They let that lie stand as if it's fact and go straight along. I like to say the media is very episodic. It does things in parts, and sometimes one thing may not relate to something, and sometimes it will relate to something. I got on a tangent. I got the law up there. Let me bring my point back up to you where you can see me, family. I'm sorry about that. Let's clean that whiteboard up, get that off there. We're looking at the term. That's that term. We want to look at number 5, the article. That's right. We want to go to the article here. That's the wrong. There we go. Show this article to the family. All right. That's what I want you to see. What's going on? As I was saying, the accused, what's going on? The accused will be stripped of their constitutional rights, whereby attorneys and loved ones will be frustrated by a state justice system that will have locked the accused away, and no one will have access to them or the evidence the state bases its accusation on. Law enforcement can accuse someone of being a gang member simply based on the color of the clothing he or she may be wearing or a tattoo. To quote this article right here by Kasha Tucker, the overly broad nature of the database makes it a prime tool for racial profiling. Communities of color, black people, that's not in the article, should not live in fear that at any given moment their child or family member could be added to this database and never told or given an opportunity to dispute or challenge the designation. So what's going on, family? What's going on is this. We're in profiling. Get this right here. What's going on? Profiling is happening. Something like this might be this is happening. An officer has stopped two young males. He's starting to question them. They seem to be wearing matching clothing. And the young males, black young male, let's be more black men, youth, they don't know. They're being respectful. You know, they've been taught in their home environment, sometimes Christian home environment, to be respectful. And they think being respectful is to obey the police officer, not understanding that they have a right to tell the officer, I don't want to question you. You have any questions for me? I want an attorney present. But they're being respectful. So they've been stopped. And then what's the next thing we see happening, family? We see something like this going down. Then after that, even though they're being respectful, they think they're, because they've been told like that at home and cooperating, the next thing we see something like this going on, family. And all because their name could have been in a database, or what's going on with this idea right here. They've been stopped, they've been frisked, good old policing. Is profiling happened? Well, that's what the article said that I just shared with you. It is a perfect tool for racial profiling. It is he may not say it's racial profiling, but I'm definitely going to say it's racial profiling, okay? I'm never going to put words in somebody's mouth. So let's move a little further in this discussion, family. How is this an attack on the black young man? Let's look a little deeper. We're going to get into, let's escape that, get that out of there. I'm going to clean off my whiteboard for you, family. And we're going to put this in, let's see. We'll put this in here. Are we on that? Yes, we are. We're back to, all right, now, get that, let's move a little further. All right. What happened? That's what happened. Georgia General Assembly HB994 can deliver the alleged gang member and those accused of being associate of a gang member, not associating with a known gang member, the threat of receiving 5 to 20 years imprisonment without the possibility of parole. HB994, along with the database, will make no distinction between nonviolent offenses. Young black males, young black men can be locked up for even associating with a known gang member. And it must be emphasized here that associating is not in House Bill 994. Well, let's make that point. Let's get a full. And once the accusation is made, the accusation will be literally based on the statement of a policeman who is known for testifying or lying under oath or in a police report. The officer will swear he or she observed the youth wearing matching colors, shirts, tattoos, bandana, and the rest of that nonsense in 994 that seems to single out young black men. The accused again can face the threat of being locked up for just associating, meaning being in the presence of a known gang member for 5 to 20 years. And family, my people, this is happening. Young black men have been stopped for being in the presence of a known gang member. And still, to this day, in some county courthouse, they are facing a charge of being associating with a known gang member. And they're waiting for court dates based on the testimony of a police officer. No investigation has occurred. No looking into it. And so let's get into that. No investigation has occurred. All they're doing is associating, quote unquote, and associating it is not in there. And so I want to deal with those two terms. Before I get to those two terms, let's look at this concept. What is it? Testilying. I want to make sure that you understand I'm not making that term up. Look at that term right there, Testilying. Here's a sister that faced this and I think up in New York. Let's get that article out. You see that up there, family. Bring you the facts again. You got to see it for yourself. Look at this. This article here, get that to you. No, thank you, New York Times. That's fair use for me. Testilying by police, a stubborn problem. Let me have another sip of water, get a little tongue tied. Trying to bring you the facts, bring you the data. By Joseph Goldstein, officer. Look at this. I'm not going to read the article. There it is for you, family. You can see it for yourself. Now let's move a little further. Let's deal with that term associate. Associate. The law says associates with an S. Let's bring that back over. Take number 2, turn it off. We got to come out of that. Take number 2, turn that off. Whoop. Let's go back into that more, clean off my whiteboard. I want to deal with this term here. We are in these terms. The word associate. Man, bring that up for you, family. The word associate. Now, when you Google this term, associate, I think associate, with the S like the law would seem to suggest, that's House Bill 994, General Assembly, Georgia General Assembly. Anyway, associate, a partner or colleague in business or at work with limited or subordinate membership of an organization. That's the term associate. Look at that. Now let's look at it in another way. We want to look at it this way. This is the Black Law Dictionary, the 3rd edition. And I like those old dictionaries because the newer the edition gets, the more political correct or whitewashed and sanitized, not to offend white people, they get a little cleaner. They get a little script. So I like some of the old ones when they was very bold. They didn't feel like nothing was wrong with what they was doing. Ronald Reagan said we didn't know there was a race problem in this country. Anyway, the definition of associate, according to Black's Laws Dictionary, a partner in interest, an officer in each of the English courts appointed by the chief judge. So get the idea there. There's a partnership going on. There is a role that person is playing. Okay. Associating is not a partnership. Associating is in the presence of. That's why they play that game. When you walk into a bank and you step up to the counter to the teller and you cash your check, you're not an associate of the bank or associates of the bank in a partnership with the bank. You are associating with the bank. Simply put, when something crazy like a bank robber comes in, and you know how some people they have that goody two-shoe, they want to help everyone and try to be a moral compass for some people, whatever that could be, and they decide to say to the person, hey, this is not a good thing. Just because that person said this is not a good thing, they're not associates with the bank robber. They may have been associating with the bank robber at that moment. But again, when a kangaroo state, a backwards state, and a backwards country, well, things can shift and change to fit their reasoning. Often that reasoning is for our own demise. Enough said with that. Let's come out of that word right there, family, and I'm going to put up that other word I said I would talk about. What is my other word? I want to get that word in here. I mentioned the word terrorist. Get back in front of me, get my notes back in front of me. I don't like to get too far from where I'm at. Am I on the word terrorist yet? Probably. Yeah, not yet for the word terrorist. We'll get to it. We get to it. We don't. Okay, that's right. Everything's done there. Take that off. Now, what's the focal point of the laws? Now, I want to go back to the laws real quick. The focal point of the law is basically this. Back on House Bill. We don't want the House Bill. Take that down. That's what I want to see. Current version. Bring up the current version. Get a allow me to have. Give me a moment, family. There. This nice computer likes doing things with me. And I want you to see it for yourself in the actual law. Bring it up there where it says it. There we go. Perfect. Make sure that's on the screen. Hey. Get there. Okay. Did we disconnect? I love this computer when it likes to freeze up on me. Go back to it. It should be there. There it is. So let's bring it over there. There we go. Bear with me, family. I'm just bringing you the facts. I'm showing it to you in black and white. Seems like my computer don't want to show the whole page or the right part of the page. There it is where it says, what's the focal point? Okay, get back over here. Get back in front of me. Let's try that again. Maybe it's too big. Let me minimize it because it got it off to the side. I don't like that. There it goes. Let's bring that over there. That's better, family, for you can see it. There it is. There we go. Great. Sorry about that delay. What's the focal point? The focal priority of HB994 is to enjoin local superior courts to take jurisdiction from juvenile court over a minor between the ages of 13 and 17 and try that young man as an adult. HB994 enumerates the evidence for the grounds to enjoin the superior court to take jurisdiction based on a prosecutor asserting probable cause or belief. And that simple words like this. That's all he needs to do is assert probable cause or belief. And that is based again on that testimony of that police officer who could say he swore that he saw the assailant, he was wearing, he had an identifying name, identifying signs, symbols, tattoos, and graffiti and all that nonsense, okay? This can all occur before a trial during the great preliminary hearing. And I shared with you in my last video how that preliminary before trial hearing is where the greatest incarceration happens to our people. So we got to keep that in mind. We are getting locked up real fast. Let me move along. I want to close this out. Don't want to take too much more time. It goes without saying that the language of the House Bill 994 is extremely subjective. 994 is unequivocal about mandatory sentencing. And you can read it there for yourself in the bill. 994 basically guarantees mandatory sentencing. So what you're going to find there is you're not going to find an impartial judge. What you will find, get out of that, what you will find is a judge who's on the prosecutor's team when it's time to lock us up. And then making sure that we're locked up and we stay locked up for a very long time. So what are we getting as a result of this? We're basically getting this. Put that up. The main point was to take it from juvenile court and throw it in superior court. What's the end result of that, family? From there we go into a nice little term. We go from a juvenile being arrested and placed in a juvenile detention center to being arrested and placed in a correctional facility or a state penitentiary facility with an adult. That's what the focal point of the bill is to, again, start locking us up and locking us up younger and younger in state penitentiary. This is insane. We live in an insane asylum, and we think it's normal. Nothing is normal about this insane asylum that we're living in, okay? This is exactly insane. But that goes without saying. This is not aimed at Becky and John, the white community. This seems to always be aimed at young black men and the black community. We seem to be the ones that are the prime targets of any crime initiative. And interesting enough, let me continue with my article. When comparing the federal juvenile code to this law that they've done, it states that the adjudicating court must find as a matter of fact, that is, an open court proceeding ruled by a judge on the delinquency of a minor, and that stays in juvenile court. Interestingly enough, the entire concept adolescent, juvenile, and delinquency were created to address Irish gangs of the early 1900s. Wow. Those white gangs, there's understanding. But when it's black, there's harsh and deadly force. There's no understanding. Got to put that out there. Got to go into the facts, family. I know you don't think that's got to be said, but it has to be said. Let's move on to what happened in the Nicholas case. And again, this is no slight to the young man. I want to no disrespect to the young man of the Nicholas case. What the article type, the article itself. Let me bring up the article. Get into the facts about that. In the Nicholas Shaffer's case, see, bring up that article. There we go. Let me change the whiteboard so you can see that. Get that. There we go. In the Nicholas Shaffer's case, Cody Bauer pleaded guilty to the crime and was sentenced to life prison term plus 675 years. What more does the governor need? Current laws also provide for the death penalty. What more does the governor need? Even though Kemp may have never campaigned as a law and order candidate, that stunt that he did with its bus deportation of illegal immigrants showed to invoke the concept of concepts of being a law and order kind of guy, you know, which entails, you know, coded language, that dog whistle stuff. This is aimed at other people, not us. You know, don't worry about it. I'm law and order and stuff. All the other people who are out of order, not us. Okay, be that as it may. Let's move a little further. That's the point with that stunt. Let's see. The governor just claims he's fulfilling a campaign promise that he promised to Georgia during their campaign. Yet he is committing millions of dollars into the foreseeable future to man and maintain a criminal database that's duplicating police and investigation that's already going on. And I like to point out they seem to always find millions of dollars to lock us up, but they don't have money to just put a sidewalk on a dangerous highway. That just goes without saying here. So what more does the governor need? In that case, again, these are just hollow, empty promises that look good on paper. To appear tough on crime, it appears that he wants to double the time of locking them up to 4 life prison terms. You know, which is, let's think about that. How realistic is this? 2 life terms, 675 years, 4 life terms, 1,300 years. You know, is somebody going to serve that time? What's the point? Enough said. It looks like extreme redundancies, something politicians are very good at, doing unrealistic things and never focusing on the real thing that needs to be done. As discussed further in this work, the target of any crime initiative inevitably ends up being on young black men. So what more does the governor need? Get that out of there. I did say I wanted to talk about this term right here. It's important that I share it. And that's that term right there. I want you to look at terrorist. What is terrorist? I had to bring that in because there's something I want to point out. What is terrorist? It's white-splaining. It's a term that whatever government official decides to label you as a terrorist, you're a terrorist. I can be labeled a terrorist just for criticizing the governor and the elected officials of this state. People who deal in conspiracy theories, whatever that is about, are considered terrorists. Extremists are considered terrorists. You know, they're kind of tricky with that stuff because the extremists that they documented in the June document from the FBI is supposed to have been looking at, those white extremists, but somehow those white extremists ended up on the Capitol step. They're more concerned about the black militia, so they focus more over that side. That's another discussion. Anyway, So that's what a terrorist is. Let's get a little deeper into the final part of the article here. Get out of that. And view from the Capitol. There we go. That's what I want to show. So, what more did the government need? I think the government needs this. He needed a war. He needed an enemy, an invented enemy that the good people of Georgia could fear. He employed one of the oldest political tricks of a U.S. president, that is to marshal the people's support against the common enemy. Nonsense. The white media followed pursuit for almost a year and a half before COVID-19. We were bombarded with the imminent tyrannical threat of an invading gang. Georgia was facing gangs, family. The gangs were coming. The gangs were coming. We got to get rid of the gangs. The gangs were coming. That's what was going down. The gangs were coming. The gangs were coming. They was touching almost every county in the state. That's what they said. They was touching almost every county in the state. So it was in danger. It was a countdown. Look at that. There was a count up, right? Quite frankly. So he needed an enemy. You know, like Bush and Reagan and Bush, the other elder Bush, and Nixon and all, even Kennedy. They always needed an enemy. The great communist is coming to get us. The war on terror. You know, they've been trying to label the young black man a terrorist since the 1990s. Look into their history. So they needed a common enemy, family. What else did he need? Let's get into this part right here. He said that we're gonna let's get that out of there. Come on out. What else? I gotta play it. I know some folks say I shouldn't play it, but I have to.
That's not what we should do. That's not what we should do. Politically, I acknowledge it's not back in the 60s. There is today. There's a second thing that we all have agreed upon. And that is unless we do something about that young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I give myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now. Not out of a liberal instinct for love and humanity. I think that's good instinct. But for simple pragmatic reasons. If we don't, they will. Or a portion of them will become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets. That society has in fact, in part because of its neglect, created.
That's it, family. Predators. A crime bill. They see predators on their streets. And who is the predator? Like that person famously pointed out, the predators are always somehow us. The predator is never these people. I don't know why. The predator can't be those people. The predators are always us. And I look back at my video on that subject. We're the predators on these streets. These people, we're the problem. You know, and interesting, you know, let me get back on point with my article. It seemed that, you know, the media, they went out, followed pursuit, and was bombarding us with this potential invasion of gangs. But thanks to COVID-19, the gangs went home and sheltered in place. They seemed to went in from shelter in place, but the Street Gang Prevention Act didn't seem to do anything. Oh, interesting, huh? They just all disappeared. Interesting enough also that, you know, we didn't get this media bombardment before Kemp's administration. We got it on, not during Neal's administration. Governor Neal's Deal administration, the previous governor administration, all seemed to just beset us during Brian Kent. So what is going on, family? They need the face of gangs, and the face of gangs is what they need. What face of gangs, and what was the common enemy that the good governor needed? He needed this as the face of gangs, his family. That's what was going on. He needed this as the face of gangs that you needed to see, and media followed pursuit. Did they organize and meet behind the closed doors and do the things that, I'm not going to speculate this. I'm just going to look at what actions come out as a result of it. I'm just go a little deep here. You know, the crime has been committed centuries ago that we have an open enemy. And that crime has been committed ever since we were enslaved, and then when we came out of slavery, they didn't expect for us to make it. In fact, they expected us to be eliminated way before we got to this point right now. So right now, he doesn't have to appear to be evil. He can just go along because a system is in place that works to his advantage to our demise, and we can't see that, and that's what's going on. So let me get out of this. I'm taking too much time. I don't want longer than my normal width. So let's share this final thought with you, family. It is the long sought after death wish. What am I saying about that? The death wish is this. It is the desire of the European settler to remove or to eliminate what they have deemed the undesirable or competing interests. Being that open aggression to remove or eliminate would cause national and international controversy, the next best thing is to criminalize the undesirable. By demonizing the young black man as a criminal, then the veil of they got what they deserve would cover the demonic design of government officials. The push to label the young black man as a terrorist, as I said, goes back to the 1990s. He was called a predator by Joe Biden and a super predator by Hillary Clinton. Sadly, some among black people have fallen for their dastardly schemes. I don't want loyalty on my time, family. Let me get out of this. I just wanted to share with you that those things, and go over here and get into what I'm about so that you see it, why I'm doing what I'm doing. There it is for you. There it is for you right there. See and understand that this is what this is all about to you. Your work is not to drag the world kicking and screaming into a new awareness. Your role is to simply do your work, and those with eyes to see and ears to hear will respond. That's the focus here, family. Again, to remind you, this is not just happening in the big city. This is happening all over Georgia, small counties. Young black males, youth, 16 to 17 years are being locked up. Some have been held for months, and family didn't know what was going on. They were just told they were associating with a gang member. Somehow doing a drive with someone in a car, the car was stopped for a tail light being out or a tag light being out, and somehow the police officer suddenly discovered that there was a gang member in the car and everybody else was associating with him, and they got this charge. They're facing this charge. So this is my goal here, is to bring the light on this dastardly design that's aimed at our people, because it's not happening in the white communities. Somehow, very rarely will it happen. Enough said with that. Thank you so much for being there. Let me get back again. This is the topic that we're talking about, family. I want you to see that as I close out. And if you like this video, share it, like, comments, hit that notification so you can see the upcoming discussions on this topic. And as always, family, we need to be wise out there. What is that at? We need to be wise out here and do our best to help each other and focus on the issue. That's enough said. A long time, coming up on 44 minutes and 27 seconds. So that's enough talking. Thank you. Until next time, stay tuned. Look for me. Watch for the notification. Have a great day.